Hey guys, due to the fact that I'm still struggling with an ongoing cold, I decided to bring up one of the most feedback episodes in 2025, and it's also one of the most relevant and I would say even more than ever. It's about my personal view on dry January, and as I said it in a recent interview for German television, I think we already feel kind of a saturation when it comes to this dry January, alcohol free focus in January, or even the alcohol bashing in January, just to start the year with something, well, different. I don't know. In my opinion, we should talk way more about inclusivity, and this was basically what the episode was all about. So have fun with episode 329 this year and 225 last year. It's 2025, and 11 years ago, Dry January was founded as kind of a base for a health movement in the UK. And 11 years later, the things have totally changed. When it started and you went to a bar in January, you only were able to have soft drinks, warm drinks, hot chocolate and stuff, or juice-based cocktails. And if you were brave enough, you tried one of the non-alcoholic beers or wines, and you were just disappointed. But 11 years later, we are ages away from what happened in 2014. The portfolio of alcohol-free drinks has emerged like never before. So many things are available, and you even have the feeling that Dry January is not a tiny little movement anymore. It's something really big. Nevertheless, Dry January also brings out all the people on the one hand that are just bashing on Dry January, and the others that are the super health focused, demonizing alcohol people. And we want to talk about the way in between, moderation. And this is what this episode is about. Have fun. Welcome to the Pinot and Pixel podcast episode number 225, or as the anti-Dry January movement would greet you, Happy New Beer. Usually, Dry January brings out two different fronts: the super sober, stubborn people demonizing alcohol as hell, and on the other hand, the now more than ever guys claiming that Dry January is either just the absence of lubricant or foreplay, or dad jokers saying, "My wines are always dry, I don't know what the problem is." Well, both of them exist, and not only in January, but during the whole year. And of course, Dry January usually is a reason for so many people to cut off alcohol because, on the one hand, either they discovered that they might have a problem with it, or they just had too much of it during the holidays. In the end, the reason for you participating in Dry January just doesn't matter at all, because there is never a reason against less alcohol. Never ever. Everybody should decide how much he or she wants to drink, but if any one of us decides to drink less, it should be totally fine. This social pressure thing is huge in our society. Recently, there was a study published by Heineken together with, who was it actually? Was it YouGov? I can't remember it correctly, but at least Heineken was one part of the study, and they discovered that in the 5 key markets, social pressure is huge. So even if you have a glass of your alcohol-free beer and people discover that this is alcohol-free, they still keep on bashing. They still keep on mobbing you. And I mean, this is not cool. It should be all about moderation and empathy for the people that decide on their own to just cut off alcohol or just drink less. And in addition, if you don't know that, it does not make any sense at all to not drink in January and then just get hammered between February and December every single week. Okay? And for many people, Dry January is a starting point is a way to just have a checkout or maybe even a check-in with themselves just to discover whether there might be a problem or not. And there is this very, very famous interview with Tom Holland where he says, okay, I tried to participate in Dry January and I discovered how hard it was for me to stay away from the booze. So I tried it another month and another month and another month, and now I'm so and so many years sober. And again, it's not about dogmatizing. It's not about black or white, 0 or 1. Decide how much you want to drink, but please stop bashing people who just decide not to drink at all. Just to give you a feeling how big this Dry January 2025 will be. The movement was started in the UK in 2014, and they started with a couple of thousand participants. And in 2025, there is an estimation that 15.5 million Brits will take part in Dry January. And the calculation behind is very simple and also super stunning. There is approximately 69 million Brits, according to Worldometer, living in the UK. And 23 million are teenagers, so you have to subtract them. And we have 46 million Brits left of legal drinking age. So 1/3 of them, 33%, said they will take part in Dry January. And this is not only in the UK. It's the case for Central European countries. It's the case for the US. And sometimes it's 15%, sometimes it's 40%, but it doesn't matter. What I want to say is it's a decision that every one of us takes on his or her own, and it became a movement. It became part of society, and we should just respect that. There were some quite interesting articles over the last, I would say, months on the internet, and either talking pro the consumption of alcohol or against the consumption of alcohol. And usually the problem is, as I said, no matter how much you love the consumption of alcohol, of your favorite drink, of wine, there is never a reason against less alcohol. So when you read articles like the one that was recently published in the Globe and Mail, let me share the screen. The article is called "Alcohol is Not Tobacco," and the author wanted to show his or give his perspective on the consumption of alcohol, saying that it is not a problem. There are reasons for drinking alcohol. And of course there are. Alcohol has been a part of society, of culture for more than 9,000 years. The author is Canadian, and the numbers he offers to fight for alcohol, on the one hand, is the number of deaths related to tobacco versus the number of deaths related to the consumption of alcohol, and the number for tobacco is higher. The reason why he's talking about this is that more and more people in politics, in literature, in journalism, in culture, in society are asking for an ad ban for alcohol and even of a ban of alcohol itself. So not only the advertisement, but also the sale, or at least introducing taxes, or I don't know, restricting the sale of alcohol. And he was offended by that. Okay, I would say you can put it like this. And I don't want to be too judgy over here, but if you really want to fight for moderate consumption, you should show people a way for moderate drinking. How do you get there? And no matter what any recommendation of any country says, it cannot be moderate consumption if you drink 300 milliliters of wine a day, 100 liters of wine a year. This is just common sense, isn't it? Of course, you can find numbers for and against the consumption of alcohol, and other articles are saying alcohol is a public challenge. Why don't we see it that way? And this article, of course, shows the disadvantages of the consumption of alcohol and the relation to cancer and to other diseases. And the problem is everybody wants to fight for his or her perspective. And I think we should just stop that. We don't have to defend the consumption of alcohol or sobriety. We should show people a way for having fun, having social gatherings, enjoying life, and still be able to live like they want to live and as long as they want to live, or at least as nature offers them to live. So if someone decides to drink, I don't know, 2 glasses of red wine a day for the rest of his or her life, it should be fine. If you decide to drink nothing at all ever again, this should also be fine. But if we want to solve a problem, we should tell the people drink less but better. Maybe you just drink 2 glasses per week, but level up from your everyday Pinot Noir shitty stuff from the supermarket to your crafted Pinot Noir from the Kaiserstuhl or from Alto Adige or from Burgundy, depending on what you can afford. And looking at the numbers, when it comes to wine consumption, the volume is going down, but depending on the country or seen globally, the value is stable or on the rise, meaning people are focusing more on premiumization. And this is the exact same thing that the big brands are doing. We have talked about premiumization, 100 times last year, and it is also part of my predictions for 2025, but because it totally makes sense. And if we are, a wine marketing agency for a region or even a country, we should focus on telling people how to drink moderately. And moderately means use your common sense, use your brain, and think about it. Is it really moderate consumption to drink 100 liters of wine a year? It's not. Let's get into this discussion of what should be a good idea for wine marketing agencies, for wine-related or drinks-related companies, just to show a perspective. And one of these perspectives can be offering alcohol-free products in addition to the existing portfolio. Offering, zebra striping opportunities or several options for a meal, for a dinner, for a menu in the restaurants, in the bars. Spread your portfolio. Add options. And I'm not talking about juice. I'm talking about products that can fit in this, I won't say gap, but just replace the product in the exact same situation you want to feel, you want to experience. So if you want to go out at night with your friends and you want to party and you want to have this feeling of it's fun, it's enjoyment, you can have a cocktail, but without the booze. If, you meet with some people in your favorite bar or in your pub, you can have 3 or 4 beers watching football or whatever with your favorite beer, but just without the booze, or at least half-half. Or if you want to celebrate something, a wedding, holidays, New Year's Eve, Christmas, birthdays, you should have access to a high-quality sparkling wine served in a super elegant glass, right? So it's about options. It's about perspective. It's about empathy for both sides. And it's not about bashing others because they are part of this side. And I'm not talking about alcohol at the moment, not only. I'm talking about almost everything. I have the feeling that we became so used to bashing others or just negotiating others' opinions rather than offering options, offering conversations, discussions, and maybe open the minds of the people in the room for other opportunities, for other possibilities. This should be the key driver. And some companies are already working with that. And one of the trends we have talked about at the beginning of last year is sober traveling. And I will put the link in the show notes because sober traveling will be one of the big things in 2025. Hear my words. It has been a discovery, a trend over the last 2 to 3 years, but just what is happening in my Instagram and TikTok bubble at the moment. Restaurants, travel agencies, ferry companies offering sober or at least zebra striped alternatives for traveling, for just enjoyment for events is huge. And there is this guy, Harrison, he will open up a sober, healthy manor restaurant hotel combination in the UK in 2025. He shares his story and his way to the estate and the opening. Super exciting. And this is just one big thing that it sits around, 160,000 followers or so. Great storytelling and great story, by the way. But I will put the link of the Forbes magazine article in the show notes, because this is it, guys. We are talking about restaurants and hotels, big names, jumping on that train. The Four Seasons, the Marriott's is part of it. Airlines are working with alcohol-free products, and usually not only the entry level, but also especially focused on the premium lines. When you have a look at the local supermarkets, even in Germany, there is alcohol-free options up to 15 euro. That is crazy. And that is good. So options are good. And it's happening with traveling as well. There are super nice apps, but the Better Without app, or apps where you can just discover places where alcohol-free options are available, are offered, or the menu at least is very, very huge. And this topic will be a part of 2025 and ongoing in hospitality. I am already working with 2 clients that open their mind towards alcohol-free options, events, tastings, B2B, and retail. And of course, it always depends on your peer group. It depends on your goals, on your company goals, on your mission. But you should consider working with that. And I mean, it's January 8th. We have 23 days left. If you are a brand that is at least connected to the alcohol-free space, it's definitely time to jump on the train in marketing. Content marketing at its best in January. It's the biggest month for alcohol-free products. If you have a look at Google Trends, there is 2 spikes when we talk about alcohol-free. One is in January and right before Christmas. What shall I tell you? It makes sense. Last but not least, if you think, I don't want to go out, I don't have the money to go out, or how can I just sit at home, relax, and drink my favorite drink, but without alcohol, think about the ingredients you need for your favorite cocktail and just replace them with the alternatives. So if your favorite cocktail is a French 75, you basically just need a high-quality alcohol-free sparkling wine and an alcohol-free gin. Or if your favorite one is a Campari Sour or an Aperol Spritz, buy an alcohol-free bitter, take tonic or sparkling wine, alcohol-free sparkling wine, and just mix it up. If you are fancier, of course, you can also use one of these 5 non-alcoholic drinks recommendations of Meiningers. I mean, I love them. It's a great setup for drinks, great choices. The problem is that sometimes you need very, very special products, and usually you don't have lactic vanilla cordial or rhubarb cordial at home. Maybe you have Thomas Henry or at least some tonic water and bitter. This was my drink recommendation at the end of the year. You can always get fancy, but if you just want to have something really nice, focus on the simplification of those drinks. And if not, there is 800 alcohol-free beers just in Germany, 400 alcohol-free wines. No matter what country you're in, there is so many things to discover. Just go out, taste, spit, and you will definitely find some of your favorite drinks without the booze. And sometimes it's also okay to just slide in with a really nice Pinot, a champagne, an English sparkling, Bordeaux red or white, an Italian Vermentino, or whatever you like to drink. Have a wonderful week, guys. See you on Saturday with the weekly update. Ciao, ciao.